Hello and welcome to Scholar Fedu UTME Press Series, where we provide relatively detailed solutions and explanation to the UTME questions. And in this recording, we are looking at the UTME questions for biology for the year 2015. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like and share our videos. And you can also visit our website at scholar.com to practice UTME exam for free. And we also have modular quizzes on the site. Next question in ecology. The highest level of ecological organization is the biosphere is the highest level of ecological organization. It consists of various ecosystems. Next question. A biotic factor which affects the distribution and abundance of organisms in a terrestrial habitat is competition. Okay. Of course, all of these factors here, to varying degree, they affect the distribution and abundance of organism in a terrestrial habitat. However, the question here is about the biotic factor. Biotic factors are factors related to living organisms, and of all of the factors I have here, only one of them is biotic there, and that is competition. So competition reduces it reduces the distribution and abundance of organism in a terrestrial habitat. So what happens in competition is that because the resources in an ecosystem is not enough, because it's not in abundance, so the organisms tend to compete for access to these limited resources. So that is what we call competition. And in the process, some organisms are killed or eliminated, and some of them are expelled from the. Next question: the eye defect that arises because the cornea is not curved smoothly is astigmatism. This happens due to the regular curvature of the cornea. And what happens with astigmatism, with people that have astigmatism, is that the eye would not be able to refract light correctly. Light coming from different angles, the eyes will not be able to refract it correctly. Next question on nutrition: which of the following is an example of parasitism? The mistletoe growing on an orange tree is an example of parasitism. So parasitism is a relationship between two organisms in which one organism, that is the parasite, benefits, while the other organism, that is regarded as the host, is harmed. The mistletoe is a plant parasite that obtains food from other plants. It basically goes on another plant and it develops its roots into the conducting tissue in that plant, and it uses to tap food from the conducting tissue of that plant. And what that eventually leads to over time is malnutrition in the host plant. So that relationship there is parasitic to that host. Question 30. The increasing order of the particle size in the following soil type is. So the one that has the smallest particle size is the clay, then the silt, then the sand, and then the gravel. So the gravel has the highest particle size, while the clay has the smallest. So in increasing order, that is from the smallest to the highest, we are going to have clay to silt to sand and gravel. Next question on ecology: which of the following factors can bring about competition in a population? Emigration. So emigration is when you have the influx, when you have organism moving into an habitat. So what happens is when you have more organism moving into an habitat that has a limited resource, then this organism, the organisms, one that are coming and those that are already in that habitat, they have to kind of compete for access to those limited resources. Examples of such limited resources include water, food, space. So these organisms, they have to kind of like battle it out between one another for access to those limited resources. So emigration can increase the level of competition in a. Next question on growth: stunted growth and poor root development are a result of a deficiency in calcium. So stunted growth and poor root development are a result of deficiency in calcium. Next question on cell: the cell organelle responsible solely for respiration is the mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of the cell, is the site of aerobic cellular respiration. Anaerobic cellular respiration occurs in the cytoplasm, okay, but the main site for for cellular respiration, for aerobic cellular respiration, is the mitochondria, and that is where the greatest amount of energy is generated. We have a website at scholar.com where you could practice exams for free, the UTME exam and the post UTME exam. It also features modular quizzes in physics, chemistry, and biology. So if you've studied a topic in any of the subjects and you want to test your understanding of the topic, you can head on to our website at scholar.com and take modular quizzes for free. Also, if you sign up on the website, it has a personalized dashboard where you could use to check your progress in learning. We also have interactive sessions on the website and on our social media platform. Freebies are also available to top performance on the website. Next question. So we have a diagram here. We have to use the diagram below to answer the question. The organelle that is responsible for hereditary is, the organ that is responsible for hereditary, okay, for genetic or the transfer of characters between parents and offspring, is the nucleus. But in this diagram, you can see there's just one. Clearly, there's the organelles here are not very clear. I can't tell if the label, whether the eye, I can't even tell what it is. The eye, there is actually the cell wall. That's the cell wall. That's like the only distinct part of it. The other ones are not clear. So we just pick any option here. We are not saying that is the correct answer because the diagram here is not clear enough. It's not well detailed. But the organelle that is responsible for hereditary is the nucleus. Okay, it's found in the next question. So we have to use this diagram to answer the question that follow. The process that is illustrated in the diagram is sexual reproduction in rhizopus. Next question. The structure that is labeled I is the structure labeled I is called the zygospore. It's called the zygospore. Next, we have another question. The organelle responsible for sexual reproduction is labeled that is the part labeled I. That is what we call the micronucleus. So the primary soma has two nucleus. The macronucleus, as you can see in this diagram here, the bigger one, which is the macronucleus, and that organelle, it controls metabolic activities in the cell, while the smaller one, which is the micronucleus, controls the reproductive process. It functions. Next question. The organelle responsible for osmoregulation is the part labeled IV is called the contractile vacuole, and its functions in osmoregulation, which is the maintenance of the level of fluids or ions in. Next question on circulatory system. The part labeled I is the aorta, which is the biggest artery, in the circulatory system. That is the artery that is closest to the heart, and that is where blood flows out of the heart. Next question on circulatory system. Oxygenated blood is pumped to the entire body from the part labeled IV is the left ventricle, where oxygenated blood is pumped from the heart. You can also join our online tutorial classes for different classes. We have tutorials for students in SS1, 2, or 3. We also have for UTME candidates, for JAMB candidates, for students who want to write the JAMB or the UTME exam, and for those who want to write the post UTME exam after the UTME exam, and also for candidates that are sitting for WAEC exam or GCE or NECO. And we offer this tutorial on various platforms, so you could join us on WhatsApp or on Telegram, you could be on Zoom or on Google Classroom. So we have various platforms where we take our tutorial. The links to join the platform are available on our website at scholar.com, or you could also check it out in the video description below. Next question on growth. The diagram below. Use the diagram below to answer the question that follows. The experiment demonstrates This experiment is used to demonstrate phototropism, which is the response to light. So as you can see in this diagram here, that this seedling here is going towards this part here, and this, while the other seedling here is going upright, but this seedling here is attached to this seedling, like to the container, is a rotating arm of a clinostat. That is meaning that this container is being rotated. Now what is happening here is that for this plant here, light is only reaching this plant from this side, okay, from this side, and the shoots of plants, that is the upper part of plants, the parts that is above the soil, is positively phototropic, meaning that it tends to go towards light. Now so this organism, this plant here, because it is the light is only reaching it from this part, the shoots will grow towards that part, towards that light source. But in case of the other plants, because it is on like a rotating stand here, so the plant is getting light, like all the sides of the plant is getting light, because this thing keeps rotating, it keeps rotating, so all the part is getting light, and so the plant simply goes upright. But for this plant that is only getting light from this side and this other side is blocked, this plant would tend to grow towards light. So what this experiment basically is demonstrating here is what we call phototropism, the response to light. Next, so using the same diagram as in the previous question, the part that is labeled I will contain the high concentration of oxygen. Oxygen contributes to plant phototropism. So oxygen is a growth hormone in plants, okay, and its function basically in elongation. Now in this part of the plant that is going to grow towards the light, so oxygen will be concentrated here, and what it does is that it softens the cytoplasm here, it softens the cell wall of the plants here, so that makes the plants flexible to grow, so that it can then like bend and grow in this line. Okay, next question. So we have a diagram. The breathing posture that is illustrated in the diagram is known as, the breathing posture in toads and frogs is called amplexus. Okay, even though this is a mating posture, but more specifically for toads and frogs, it is called amplexus. It is called amplexus. So this is a question. This is a matter of specific to general. Okay, so amplexus is more specific as an answer to mating. Okay. Next question. So using the same diagram, the diagram shows that the organisms are. Now as we can see in this diagram, that the eggs here, they are laid outside. Okay, the eggs are laid outside, then the spermatozoa is sprayed on the egg, so the eggs are fertilized outside the parent's organism, and that is oviparity. So these organisms here, they are oviparous, in that the eggs are laid outside and fertilized outside. Okay, question 45 on homeostasis. Insulin is produced by the endocrine gland, the endocrine organ labeled. So insulin is produced by the pancreas, which is the word I. The pancreas produces insulin. The part labeled I is the pituitary gland, the master gland, okay, in the head. The part labeled II is the thyroid gland. The part labeled III, that will be the pancreas, okay. The part labeled IV, that is the gonads, which could be the testes, and as the diagram here suggests that this person is a male, okay, judging by the position of the last gland here. It's the gonad, the testes. Question 46. Which of the following will be true of dog II, which lost its tail in an accident if it mates with dog III? So the dog II here, okay, lost its tail in an accident and is mating with the dog III, which has a tail. So none of the offspring, what we can say here is that none of the offspring will be born without tail. Now one may think that, well, one of the parents, like I here, is tailless. Remember that originally it has a tail, but it lost it in an accident. Now a feature that is lost in the advent of an accident or some sort of mechanical defect, it does not affect the offspring. It does not affect the offspring. So losing the tail in an accident is just it doesn't basically that does not do anything to, it does not affect the genetic of the organism. So none of the offspring will be born without tail, because this one here has lost its tail. No, so the offspring, they will not be born without tail, they will have tail. Okay, next question using the same diagram. If the dogs are offspring of a monohybrid cross and the gene capital G for grey head is dominant over the allele G, small g, the individual whose genotype is likely to be GG is. Okay, so from a monohybrid cross of homozygous pair of gene means that the parent has a pair of gene that is, dominant, or a pair of gene that is recessive, a pair of gene that both are dominant or both are recessive. Now if we do a test cross here, okay, the resulting organism that we can get are all of them, they are going to be GG. That is, this goes with this goes with this. Anyway, we combine this two. If this is coming from one parent and this is coming from the other parent, then the resulting offspring that we can get can only have what, G, like capital G and small g, which means that the organism is going to have gray head. Okay, now if we now take a cross of any two of the offspring like GG, okay, that is the heterozygous pair of genes where one is dominant, the other is recessive. If we cross it, okay, we are going to have one that will be homozygous, like with that dominant gene, two will be heterozygous, dominant, and one is going to be homozygous dominant. So we have like an homozygous pair of genes that are both recessive, So since the gene GG is recessive, that means that the dog that has the homozygous pair of gene is going to have the lesser or the least gray spots on its body, and here that is the dog IV. The dog IV has the least gray spot on its body. Next question on adaptation. The type of protective adaptation exhibited by the animal is counter shading. Okay, so counter shading is a type of adaptive feature in which an organism has a body that has unevenly colored side. That is, one side of the organism is colored in a different way from the other side of it. So rats, for example, their belly are usually whiter, while their back are usually gray or black. Okay, so that's, we call it counter shading. It is an adaptive feature that helps the organism to, it's a protective adaptive feature in the sense that it helps the organism to it protects the organism from UV rays, from excess. Next question on the same using the same diagram. The structure that is labeled I is, it is tactile, meaning that it is sensitive to. Alright, the last question on ecology. The population of different organisms that exist together in a habitat is called, that is a community. A community is a group or population of organisms of two or more species that are occupying the same geographical area, okay, that are in the same habitats. Okay, don't forget to check out our playlist. We have different playlists. We have for full solutions to UTME or JAMB questions and in physics, chemistry, and biology. We also have for modular quizzes as well. Okay, we'll also have a playlist for post UTME or post JAMB exam, and also for crash courses in physics, chemistry, and biology. So don't forget to check out our playlist for the available videos. So that's it for this recording. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at ScholarFedu. Okay, like and share our content, and visit our website at scholar.com to practice UTM exam and modular quizzes for free. Thank you.